Hello, everyone, and welcome. And I forgot to pull it up to the 29th episode of the SWW Show. Me, AJ, Mike. I am in the middle of two snowstorms that are supposed to hit.
So I like how you got hit with the snowstorms and I avoided it.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Really?
Yeah, because they were like, "Oh, it's
Because
going to
like
be."
Illinois apparently got hit.
They're like, "Oh, it's going to be like a crazy storm." We got like 8 inches,
Mm-hmm.
which is nothing. I mean, it's a large amount of snow, but we're used to getting like 3 or 4 of those storms around this
A
time anyway.
day. Hmm.
But yeah, um, we
What episode
nothing
is this
upcoming
even? I have no clue.
because
The world is over, okay? There
um,
is no world. I apologize. I tried to see if there's anything upcoming. There is nothing.
yeah. In terms of stuff we've played, check out the SWW Show YouTube to see recordings of our Sea of Thieves streams, our hour of Halo Reach. No, Halo.
And then followed by
We played
AJ's.
Reach, didn't we?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
which is just
yes.
incredible that the game was that bad. And then the second half of that Halo
Because
Reach stream is me driving trains around, I believe, the
look,
UK.
it's 100% Mike does Halo Reach. I was too lazy to Mike and his two things. It's 100% Halo Reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
AJ
yeah,
has
if
made
you
me
if you,
sign up temporarily for Game Pass.
uh no, you chose to sign up for Game Pass.
Okay, well, you wanted to play a game and I wasn't going to pay for
Yeah. I'm glad I bought Master Chief Collection on a deep discount. I'll tell
it.
you. So yeah, you can check us out on SWW Show YouTube, on Twitch at Generic Jericho every Wednesday around 7 Eastern. Is when we try to go live.
We try.
Yeah.
It happens. What from Wednesdays where one of us can't, the other is apparently doing random shit. But yeah, let's see. So let's start with Sea of Thieves because the two games you've played in the last bit we both played together. So both these were like my first time playing both the Game Pass games we're gonna talk about. Sea of Thieves is so I enjoy that we just kind of go goof around in it. I think my problem with it, for a game I assume makes no introduction by the way, the Rare Pirate game, is there is no real progression in the game, and I understand they're trying to keep it a fair playing field, but like even stuff to me where like to me the sense of progression should minimal be like I can upgrade the ship looks or store things on it. I can't even do that in the game, and that I think that to me would keep me from playing it independent from like hanging with you and playing it.
I mean, like the whole point of it is you go buy stuff, right, for
Mm-hmm.
leading adventures and stuff like that. So it is annoying that it takes, it's weird. Your character outfit transfers over,
Right.
yet the ship doesn't transfer over.
And to me as a pirate, I care about the ship more than me as the player.
Especially when you can't see yourself.
Right. It's a first. Like I understand that you still want to give the player the ability to customize themselves,
Yeah.
basic psychology and game design. Understand that, not questioning that. But I'm saying the ship, independent. Like I understand you saying I should be able to upgrade things or keep things upgraded that mechanically might give me advantages. Being able to customize the look of my ship, I should be able to do. Well, I went back to I should be able to do stuff to that ship until it sinks. I even understand that restraint. I have a problem with it where every time I log off, the ship just goes away. The example being like we got a rowboat. I don't understand. To me, that rowboat should be on the back of that fucking ship until it sinks.
Well, it's actually the funny thing about the rowboats is if your boat does sink, those just float. They detach from the ship.
And depending where it gets hit, I'm not offended by that per se. My point was more the
Well, no, it's more of in theory you could take your rowboat, go find wherever your ship spawned,
and get the stuff,
and row your treasure that you may
which
have had.
that to me seems reasonable and like a good design choice. I don't see the design choice of like, but like I just feel that like there should be some level of progression in there of something I feel like I'm getting further. Even if it's just me unlocking stuff to customize that ship, and now I'm attached to the ship. That's something. Right now, I feel like in that game, nothing I do matters.
Well, some of the stuff is gated behind, like progressing through the different, the three different, uh, I guess, businesses or whatever. So there is stuff that's gated behind progress, but I mean it's whatever. I wonder if one of the limitations behind like carrying over your ship is like, for instance, like you were joining me, so I was the one that was hosting.
Mm-hmm.
Would they then like they would have to keep track of, so when you went in and hosted, like they would have to keep track on a server,
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, what was your ship when you were hosting?
That's not that hard though. Like this is not. Once I am tracking already, I'm already tracking player progression, broadly speaking, and I am tracking like player clothing, which all it is on the back end is the clothing exists. I switch out my active clothing. Like there's more to it, but like you're switching on the model basically, right? Why is the ship not as simple as that?
I just have to imagine it's because you could, in, I don't know, in theory, right? Like somebody plus two. I wonder if they thought of it as, you can be collaborative with your crew to choose what you want to put on there,
Okay,
which kind of makes sense. But
but
then
then
it's
I'd
like,
want the crew would want to come back to the ship.
yeah, or you can just be like, okay, you know, the 4-person ship. I think it works a lot better with, because there's like 8 things that you can cannons,
Mm-hmm.
skill,
But wouldn't I care about that being the same? Like the point being though, if that is true,
or
and the whole point of that
60.
is an emotional bond in your ship, right? Which broadly speaking is what we're talking about here when you look at the psychology of it. I would want it to be consistent across me and you logging in the next time.
Or are they just? I mean, or they just need to like, they need to clarify like, oh, when you log off, like your ship, quote unquote, sinks.
Yeah,
Like if that's what
they
it
need to
is,
give a
and then
reason
when
what
you
happened.
spawn in, like
But
if
then
it,
why is there a brand new ship waiting? Should I feel biased shit that like this to me is what the game should be is pitches itself as a roguelike. Every time I come in with 1,000 credits. I can go buy a ship. I have 2 to 3 to choose from. Great, we go. Is what it should be pitching itself as.
yeah, I mean, there's, you know, if it's you buying, if it's the Eve model of having to
Mm-hmm.
buy your ship if you lose it, the problem is
But
there's
my
been,
point is, you just give them the credits. I would just give them the credits for it. Is my whole point. But
but then you lose, like, because the 3 different ships, so it's the 1 to 2, it's the 2 to 3, and then the 3 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
The three different ships act differently. Like the
Mm-hmm.
four person one is obviously the fastest because it has the most sails, but it's a bitch to turn.
Mm-hmm.
It's super, you can't. It's not maneuverable. Whereas the 1 to 2 person ship, it's not fast at all, but it's got the
Mm-hmm.
maneuverability. So the problem is like, I guess in theory, if you wanted to one person, if you wanted to solo a 4 person ship, you could. Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing stopping you. Um, it would just be a pain in the ass.
Okay. Yeah, that is Sea of Thieves. Now, AJ, Sea of Thieves is at least a fun time, right? We enjoyed our time with Sea of Thieves. We are
Sea of
here
Thieves
now
is like, it's a
to
super
say
competent, like,
it's a shallow fun time, is what I will call it.
a shallow fun time.
Like, as in, there's not more. I think there's only so much depth to the game, at least in the way we played it.
Well, I mean, there's well, and the stuff that we didn't really touch on is like going to the forts and conquering forts and taking on ghost ships and taking on took down a kraken. We tried to take on a megalodon, but it
Hmm.
decided to peace out. Um,
It didn't want to deal with us.
there's there are things to do, and there's I believe they're called tall tales, which are
Hmm.
like not necessarily like fully scripted, but they're stories that you end up doing.
Hmm.
So,
Fair enough. But yeah. The other thing that I'm saying though, so we enjoyed this game in some capacity. The game we and you need to talk about that we're about to get a lot of flack for, right? AJ, we're about to lose. Let's see, how many Xbox players are in the world? 1% of our player base, right? Of our viewer base. Can someone explain to me, and don't give me the excuse of you're playing with your friends, because that's true about any game, why we define the Halo series as one of the greatest series in gaming history? Because we played Halo fucking Reach, right? And I genuinely, the entire time, thought the game was a competent shooter. End of the sentence. I would never think anything about it ever again. No?
yeah, no, like, and I guess people that didn't play the Halo games, like, and I'm one of them because I didn't get an Xbox until the Xbox One. Like, we we knew, and then people, especially people that played Destiny, were like, the one thing Bungie can do is gunplay, and like that's true about the
Which
Destiny games,
Destiny,
right?
that is true. I'm not questioning the competency of playing Destiny in this discussion.
Yeah, but
I
there were a lot of people that were like, "Oh man,
feel
this feels just like
a
Halo."
little
Like,
though.
and I got, previous to me playing Halo, like, okay, whatever, I don't care. Now that I've played Halo, y'all are crazy. Like, the Reach feels nothing like Destiny.
Are you are you telling me? Also, on the gameplay,
All right, you're go.
okay. So I was saying there is visual communication in that game of what we're supposed to be doing at all.
Until like what? It
We
was a
the game realizes that we're lost.
it was a considerable amount of time.
The game gave us like 5 minutes. It's like, guys, you're supposed to go a room over.
Yeah, and there's no like, and maybe it's because I accidentally started it on easy and we were just like mowing people down. So
Maybe.
we were,
the same.
because like what it seemed like was you were supposed to be following the AI. Problem
Okay.
is,
Did the AI seem competent to you?
I mean, it followed its path innately.
So you think the AI had the same movement speed as our enemies, which were slow as hell?
I think the AI was moving at like the pace that they had set. Like there's no speed variation for the
Oh,
AI. Like
so you think they were set speed no matter what?
yeah,
That's interesting. I didn't think of that one actually. So they're assuming they like it should take each player X time to get to this spot.
right. And then the combat encounters, like I'm sure it's just basically counting down enemies before it starts
Mm-hmm.
the movement. Well, if suddenly, the AI moves from one combat counter to another and stops because that's what it's supposed to do and takes cover and starts shooting. But when it starts to do its count, it's 2/3 of the way through the count because you know the two players have just like zero regard for pacing of the game or anything like that. I don't know. Because like we got stuck in an area just going around and around and around, and finally it showed us where to go. And like because we went through it so fast, like there were AI that were circling the area that we needed to be at. So it wasn't like
Mm-hmm.
you know, we weren't guided. It's just we were on the other side of the encounter because we were
Mm-hmm.
just flying through things. So I'm sure
Yeah, it's just
we'll
it's just
eventually
I
go
don't.
back and maybe play it on like normal or something like that. Something that's a little more challenging, but
But like even from a base gameplay part though, you should be able to see a lot of way. Like Foundation, I should be able to see, be like, oh, I understand what people would like to shoot. It's harder. Where I feel like I didn't see that.
or shit, just put up the you know at the beginning of the game, just put up the button prompt for A to show your HUD, or to ping the objective, hit this
Show me where
button.
the hell I'm going. Mm-hmm. That's fair. That's
And
fair.
there's none
Okay.
of that. Maybe
Yeah.
there's that stuff in like 1 and 2, and
Oh.
by reach they just expect you to know it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Maybe. Then that's other problems. Um. Yeah. Other stuff though. I got PS5. This is the big update of the month. After many tries on BestBuy.com doing their damn catcher system, and yeah, I've been playing Cold War and Les Spider-Man Miles Morales on the console. So AJ, are you familiar with the like haptic trigger thingy on the PS5 controller?
yeah, I know what it is. It's funny actually.
It's
The
very weird. So the thing.
interview that I did for All Hail the Cookatron, we talk about the advancements of because he wanted
Peripherals.
like haptic feedback in the controller so that you could do things without turning your head, kind of like you would
Hmm.
in real life. And we started talking about the PS5 controller, and he was talking, oh, how you can the resistance and the triggers and stuff like that. Sounds really cool. And that led me down
It
to
is. It
the Xbox One with the rumble triggers and
yeah. So I think it's
their first what was that 2013 I think it was. Like their big thing was how you could feel um the stuff in Forza. You could feel the
mm-hmm.
car kind of the brakes start to catch in the left trigger, and then you could feel the tires start to slip in the right trigger. Ever, but sure enough, even that little bit kind of let you feel it out.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say the difference. I think my understanding, at least, of the Xbox One controller is and the Rumble stuff is that the Rumble is like it's actually rumbling, where in this scenario, it gives you active like click resistance, which sounds great in like single player games, multiplayer where that's a pain in the ass because it
Well, and that's my
leads to scenarios where like picking up the shotgun is just harder, or like even on sites takes longer than other people because that resistance.
well, and that's the thing too, right? Like, obviously, Call of Duty is multi-platform now, so you know if it physically slows down the player on the PS5 from
Mm-hmm.
doing an action,
Which you could turn these off. I just never
yeah.
did.
But for the casual Call of Duty player, they barely know how to work a console. Let's
Right, so casual Call of Duty player, it's probably negligible enough where they won't even notice the difference because, like, to them, they went, "Oh, I got one less kill this game. It's not gonna be noticeable."
yeah. But like, there has to be, there's got to be a consideration. Like, it used to be the balance between controller and keyboard and mouse because keyboard and mouse you could just do actions faster.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's keyboard and mouse, regular controller, and the DualSense.
And keyboard and mouse on consoles on top
Well, but there's
of
the
that.
three. No matter what, it was the
Yeah,
two,
no,
right? It
three
was keyboard
controllers
and
you were
mouse and
about.
controller. It
Right,
wasn't,
right.
there was no third option that they had to consider. But now that a controller can physically slow down, the input times, extend the input times through physical bits in the controller actually changing, like obviously the developer can control what happens in there. So can Call of Duty just like go, okay, we're just eliminating like anything to do with the trick.
So it is a console decision, but any player, it's in the controller, so you can turn that off at will.
But more of like could Call
I
of
don't know if
Duty.
Call of Duty can override your system weak things, but if you're Call of Duty, what you could do is have a pop-up that says, "Hey, by the way, you're playing with these on. Would you like to turn them off?" That's probably what they could do.
Well, but I have to imagine there's something on the developer side that says like, okay, this is what we need to do.
I bet it's a detection. They can't. They might be able to make you do it in the sense of don't let you progress in a menu, but they can't do it without your consent. It's my assumption, without reading any of the EULA or any of that nonsense.
Well, but like how does the console know that a game is a shooter and needs to act like a shooter versus
Oh, it doesn't. It is. Oh, I get what you're saying. So the developers have access on the back end to an API that. So what it means. So on the back end of my understanding of this, it's either on or not. So we're going with the assumption is the settings on, right? As a developer, I can code up to what is the level of resistance on this thing.
yeah, so you
So
could
you're right.
just
I could
code
just
or
not do it.
you could just code a level for the triggers.
Yes.
You could do everything else, but then the
Whenever I'm
triggers.
on it, whenever I am playing backwards compatible on a PS4 game, which like Warzone, for example, is actually not on PS5, it's just a PS4 game. The controllers don't work because it's not a PS5 game.
Yeah.
But it's so weird to go from like Cold War to Warzone because in my head they're the same game, just because that, but they're not actually. So I go back and I go, oh wait, there's no resistance on this. It feels different.
Oh man. I think the next time you and I up,
Mm-hmm.
you know what the Gerstmann meal is at McDonald's?
No, I asked McDonald's, do they know what the curse
It consists of two McChickens,
word?
two double cheese, large fry, McNuggets, an unspecified amount, and a large soda.
I like it.
So the guy that did this ordered a 10-piece. His meal came out to 2,700 calories. That's with the Diet Coke.
That's it. So we had a regular Coke. Good.
If you had a regular Coke, that's probably north of 3,000. Excuse me, 3,000. Plus, he chose hot mustard. Like if you chose the ranch or barbecue,
Mm-hmm.
like you could make that a 3,000 calories.
And what does that have to do with the you visit me next?
We'll have to do. We'll just split it. We'll order it as one meal, but then so one McChicken,
Of
one
course,
double cheese.
if you can't order one meal, you can't call it the Gertrude meal.
Well, you can order the Gerstmann and split it.
I would think
Like you can order a meal at a restaurant and split it.
I'm just no. I'm gonna roll up. I'm gonna roll up like in like a two-seater motorcycle, right, at the drive-through window at Mickey D's, right? And I'm gonna roll up. We're gonna still fake roll down the window because it'd be funnier that way. And we'll be like, "Excuse me, I'd like one Jeffy G meal, thank you." And then we're just gonna roll away.
Or we could try to do Vinny's Domino's.
No. And then we get a Travis Scott meal. I'm safe.
Can't order that anymore.
What do you mean? They have the ingredients.
Well, but you would have had to have known what the meal itself was.
And a Sprite. Did I ever tell you the story the one time I went with a friend and they ordered one and they asked him what he wanted to drink and he's like, "It's a Travis Scott meal." What do you mean you're asking? It's obviously a Sprite.
Well, I imagine it's just like it comes with a. Well, hello there. It just comes with a medium whatever. Right.
Well,
It's
yeah, but
advertised
like
as with a
technically it's not a Travis
Sprite,
Scott
but
meal without the Sprite.
yeah,
But then
it's
you have to
advertised
ask
as
to
a
amend it
Sprite,
tonight.
not.
By default, it should be default with a Sprite then.
I mean, knowing how a lot of that stuff used to work, at least through fast food stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
the the advertised meal that you would just hit the button and that's what it was. It was just the food. The drink was it was just like a medium drink. It wasn't a set.
Mm-hmm.
The Vinny Domino's meal.
Nice. Yeah.
A medium thin crust, extra cheese, pepperoni, 1,408. 8 hot wings, 400 calories. Blue cheese dipping sauce, 400 calories. Stuffed cheesy bread, 1,200 calories. Marinara for the cheesy bread, 60 calories. A 2-liter Coke, 840 calories. That meal totals out to 4,380.
You be slacking, boy.
That's crazy.
Nice. Yeah. Other stuff on the one that I can say on the PS5 though. I've been playing the Spider-Man Miles Morales. Uh, I'm gonna give the obvious review of that one. You ready for it, AJ? It is more Spider-Man, but with a man with shocky powers.
Bro.
Which obviously I know is because Miles can do like an electric shock thing.
I'm like
But yeah, no, that's not.
I'm not surprised, right? Like that was the most obvious thing that they could have done. I'm a little disappointed though because the way that they set it up at the end of Spider-Man, at the end of the
But they're very
game.
clear saying this is not Spider-Man 2. They've made that very clear.
I know, but like the way that they set it up is that Miles is going to be Spider-Man 2. Like
So they set up at the end of the DLC, not the end of the main game. At the end of the main game, they set up spoilers for Spider-Man that what's his face is going to become Harry is going to become like obviously what is gonna be the villain,
I mean,
as
Doc
in
Ock.
Osborn's son. No, that's not Doc Ock. Doc Ock is big guy with
No,
thing.
Harry's dead.
Did he die? I thought he was in the tube at
No, he's dead.
the end. I thought that was the big reveal at the end of it was he was still in the tubes.
Maybe he was, but I'm pretty sure he was like, because the whole thing of it was like the the missions to do like the research things or whatever
Mm-hmm.
were all recordings from Harry. But then you go to the Osborns' house and he's gone. He's dead. Like the way they make it seem is he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So, but was the Miles thing in the DLC?
Yeah,
I thought
the
that was like
ending was
the end of the game.
no, the end of the so what it was is in the DLC you are slowly training my. Oh, you're right. At the end of the game, it's the second thing. There's two credits. There's one was the Harry thing, one was the Miles thing, and
No,
then
the Harry thing's not
in
credits.
the
The Harry thing's the
DLC,
end of the game.
okay, and then the post credits is Miles. The point is, um, but the Miles, you're right. In the DLC, you're half training Miles.
No, he
Remember, he would
doesn't
like
do
either
anything.
pop
Like
in or be on. I mean,
he,
he doesn't do anything, but like he's on call and stuff, being like, "I
yeah,
tried this."
yeah. It's clear that Miles is out there doing stuff, but you don't do anything with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then they release this, which I almost feel like is kind of a stopgap.
It obviously is based on the price and the length of the game.
Like it's very clear, they were probably waiting to see the response.
Which isn't reviewed well enough. For like, and it's a good game. I don't actually hate the game at all. It's just not. It is what it is.
But I mean, you have to think, right? They are a major company, and they needed to see what the public response was going to be for doing something that had never been done before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, Spider Verse had come out at that point, but there was no other.
By the way, I pulled up the actual ending of Spider-Man on my phone. It's the ending, which is I was right. Harry Osborn is in a coma inside of a test tube, inside of the apartment, and that was what that was the Venom.
Yeah,
That's what I remember. The Venom was kind of keeping him alive. That's what it is.
yeah, but it was never like they had that, but they never hinted
Okay, it's
that it
obviously
was
he's
going
gonna
to go
be Venom.
bad.
Okay, but Venom is bad
Yes,
inherently.
yeah, but no, there's no from what I remember, like the interaction there isn't like, you know, Daddy Osborne trying to do this to his kid. No, because you rescue
Mm-hmm.
like a antidote or something like that.
Yeah, but the point is, and then it kind of pans the camera, and Peter doesn't see it, but you as the audience does.
Because the thing that you
Yeah,
you rescue something, and that's the
I'm looking
venom.
at the thing right now. Right. It, but then you see the like Venom then kind of in the test tube or next to the test tube with Harry.
I I don't know. I haven't played that game.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Otherwise, yeah. I went back to play last game on the list. Rogue Legacy 2, because we got it. We did an interview a while back and got early access keys. So I went back and played some updates since it's been a few updates since I played the game. They added so many more RPG stuff to that game that it's dangerous for me because I just want to keep leveling up all the subsystems. So one of the new subsystems in the game is, so I assume you know enough about roguelikes, where like when you die, you choose an heir and they have a class, you keep going kind of thing.
Hmm.
They now let you level up the subclasses to up their stats also, which is wild because then like that's another just progression part of the game. I'm just thinking on the back end how much balance that's to take to make sure that doesn't feel unfair. I also wonder on those games, and a thing I can never get a developer on the record to like talk about is kind of how much on the, so like a roguelike, funnily speaking, your goal is you get better at the game as you play. How much of that on the back end do you think is them secretly fucking with the numbers too? As you feel better, they also make the numbers more in your favor, just a tiny bit.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder, like that.
There's a lot of games do like shooters. That's very common to lower the AI just a hair or raise it just a hair and not tell the player.
Yeah. Well, like, is there so the advertised jump, right, is, let's say, 50%. Is it really a 30% jump, but it's advertised as a.
Mm-hmm. Or the example I was like is so the Celeste people talk about how it's like games like really hard 2D platformer. They secretly let you on the back end uh, basically move with your jump for half a second if you miss a platform, and they also make the platforms a tiny bit bigger than they are visibly bigger. So that way, if you just missed it, you actually just got it. But as a player, you thought that means you just got it pixel perfect. It really gave you a little leeway.
Yeah, I'm
So as a
sure there's a
player,
lot
you
of.
feel better, you feel smarter. Yeah, like it's those kind of tricks. And the more I just kind of play that, the more I always wondered about roguelikes more and more of how much on the back end are we really being honest about the stats?
Yeah. I mean, that's games, you know, from the start, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's this idea of, I hate to use the word power to the player because um you know it's the idea that when you're the objective is always easier than it seems, like for anything, for any game, right? Like even
Mm-hmm.
Dark Souls games, like the objective is easier than it's made out to be, because it's usually like point A
Of
to point
course.
B. And so once you wrap your head around, okay, like this is the path I need to take. Like it's how people break games, right? It's how speedrunners work. Like speedrunners have figured out A to B, and most people, my dog's going crazy in here. Most people don't necessarily think in that way. They don't think in the um, abstract, because I mean, it's abstract for a reason, right? Like if everybody thought that way, it wouldn't be the correct way to think.
Right.
And some games do better dealing with abstract thought than others. Some games just completely break in a
Mm-hmm.
very bad way. Some of them, some of them break in a good way, and it allows people to complete Mario
Mm-hmm.
games in less than 10 minutes. Or, there's games that break in interesting ways where, like, you could continue, like, Um, actually, it happened to me like it happened to me in Cyberpunk, but it was clear that it wasn't like me breaking the game breaking. Um,
Right.
well, and sometimes in Sea of Thieves, like you can kind of there are ways to mess with the physics of that game to accomplish a task, even though
Mm-hmm.
it's clear that that's not what you're supposed to do. There are ways to do it. So,
Right. No, that makes sense. It's we always get to kind of poke at the bear of what you actually can and can't do.
yeah,
Okay. Nice.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, I think that's all of our games.
we've got
It
news,
looks
but
like neither of
before
us
we
really
get to
want.
news,
Okay.
uh, hey Mike, you
What's up?
have experience with ditches lately?
Define experience. So my car. So this is gonna sound the best based on where I live, right? Right. We were driving to Fargo one day, right? Gonna intro that new story.
Well,
Uh, because my roommate wanted beer.
so to add to it, right? Mike's from Chicago, should know how to drive in the snow, but he spent the last 18 months in Florida,
Correct.
and apparently,
This is the first snowfall. That was the first time or second time I driven my car in this car ever in snow.
right? So, and sticking in a ditch.
So it was one of we were on a gravel road right in the middle of bumfuck Minnesota. Closest town is a town of 40,000 people, 40 minutes away. You're turning on this gravel road. Apparently we had ice. I didn't. I made a judgment call of either sliding right or left. I chose left. Should have chose right, and the car decided to go right after we already
You always go right.
turning left, which which at
Did
that point means car go inside the ditch.
did they not teach you that in driver's training? Like this
I
is
don't
a
remember that
serious
at all.
question.
I don't remember that fact.
Because
No.
like they drilled into our heads like if you are going to hit something, turn right. Like
We're gonna
whatever
hit
you
something.
do,
Yeah.
like
To be fair, when I was turning, I didn't know when I was turning, I was not planning on hitting something.
well, in just any time you lose control, because if you turn right, you're getting off the road.
You understand? I didn't fully lose control until I hit the turn there. So at that point, I already made a call.
Yeah. Well,
It
don't
was
you
it
drive a
was
Toyota? You still have
I
that
drive a Corolla.
Corolla?
No, you never saw a Corolla. Last I saw you, I had a Buick.
Yeah. Well, I knew you got the Corolla.
Yeah, I still have the Corolla. The Corolla's only 21 months old, 20 months old.
I was say you
I
got
got
it
the
brand
Corolla
new,
before I
and
moved to
then you
Florida.
took it down to Florida.
That's yeah. I had the Corolla for like a month and a half. So
Need to get you a
yeah,
4-wheel drive. You're living in,
I was gonna say that's the Michiganer in you. You're like, have you heard of Subaru? We did make.
or I mean, if you wanted to stick with Toyota, right? Got the trucks. Which the problem is, if you want to get into a car that's 4-wheel drive, you're either looking at Audi or Subaru.
hmm hmm
Because first off, nobody makes cars anymore, and secondly, and when people did make cars, the 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive market for cars was very small.
hmm
So there was a reason it was just Audi and Subaru because that's all it could have all it could sustain. But I mean, for the vast majority of people, even the vast majority of people in Minnesota, a front wheel drive car will do just fine. You have to be cognizant about the
Hmm.
tires that you're driving with.
I drive all wheel, like I drive the all year tires. I don't do, which I probably could do snow tires to be better.
Especially if you're going
You know the trick, right? I
off
heard.
road.
I, the trick we used to tell people who like would ask how you drive in. You know the trick you tell Floridians when they ask how you drove in the snow. You just tell them you get a bunch of nails and you put it into the tire that way, so that way you get traction when you drive.
Well, you use screws, like that's how. I think Minnesota will have screws on gravel roads. Michigan, they're
Screws are
completely
fine. The
outlawed.
issue is that the nail joke is the nail would actually kill the tire
Well, so would a screw. Like
if you do it wrong.
that's
Yeah.
the. It's funny, right? You tell people about like studded tires. People are like, "You just jam stuff in your tires?" Like, no, the tire itself
Like
has
no, no.
these little divots where you put the studs in them. Some of them the rubber is like actually threaded, so you
Mhm.
thread the stud down in there. Other ones, it's just like you go along and you just pop them in, and then they're kind of just like they get squished in once you put the tire on the ground with the car. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
if you ever want to just completely tear your hands up, move studs from tires.
Good to
That's how you
know.
do it. Will instantly rip up your knuckles because
I like your dog did not like that one. Nice.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's all of our pre-news. Oh, show rebranding stuff. So nothing changes in anyone's feeds. As me and AJ said, we've been streaming a lot more, so it's on our YouTube channel. If you just search the SWW show, it should pop up easy enough. And then also, so everyone's aware, I went through and just for searching reasons, renamed some of the shows on the feeds. The only big difference is now the interview called SWW interviews. It is Formula S as a AJ, and then Movie Club. I believe I switched to Movie of the Month. Just some nothing changes on that backlog or going forward on that stuff. It's just kind of if you all look at that and go, this looks weird, that is why. And then, like always, the just numbered episodes are the core SWW show on the feeds. But yeah, let us jump to film and TV news. So this first story, AJ, not exactly news, but I saw this and we need to talk about this because it angered me. I had to call my friend Corey just to vent about how bad this list is. So the scoff known as Vox.com has ranked all of the Pixar movies in the list. Shall we go through this list, AJ, for me to get very upset at you?
I mean, I'm looking at the list. I already agree with it.
No, there is correct objects on this list, and there are also incorrect objects on this list. The last place movie is Cars 2, which is objectively the worst Pixar film. I'm not questioning that one at all.
The one in 20th place, I have a little
Cars.
problem with.
Okay, let's start going through this. Number 22 is Cars 3. That should be objectively higher on this list. But as we'll get to, Vox is just against Cars for some reason. Um,
Yeah,
actually, they did. Uh,
they did Cars
like
like
like yeah. It's because Cars is anti-Vox's message, but that's besides the point. Okay, Good Dinosaur 21. That's probably fine. No one cared about the Good Dinosaur. We forget it existed, right? 20. The original Cars. I think so. Personally, on my list, Cars and Cars 3 are probably interchangeable, but they're objectively higher on this list.
I mean, for
Would you consider
me,
that fair?
for me, Cars 3 is a top five.
But my point being, though, I think anyone can argue either of them better, and I don't get offended by it.
Yeah,
Cars 2 is bad. Cars 1 and Cars 3 are both good and great films for different reasons. Okay. Number 19 is the pandemic-stricken Onward, which we all forget existed because of that. Okay, this is where this list gets upsetting. They put 18 as Finding Dory.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. 17 is A Bug's Life, which probably fair. It's probably the back half of the list.
No, that movie is legitimately very good.
There are very few bad Pixar films, to be fair.
They
Okay.
call it a sophomore slump for Pixar because it was the follow up to Toy.
But it's not actually.
It's definitely not a sophomore. Like, A Bug's Life for me is a top 10, but in the bottom half of the top 10.
Interesting. Okay. Number 16 is Monsters U. I think it's probably a fair spot to put it. 15 is Brave, which I almost think Brave is too high on this list.
Yeah.
14 is Monsters Incorporated. I think this should be a lot higher.
This is a top 10.
This is a top 10. Yeah, Monsters Inc. is a top 10, objectively. Okay. This is where the list gets worse. 13's Incredibles 2.
Way too high.
Oh, I was thinking way too low.
No, like, well, because think about it, right? Like, Monsters Inc. better than Incredibles 2. A Bug's Life better than Incredibles 2. Cars
Hear me out
better
though.
than.
We haven't got to yet. Incredibles 1. I think Incredibles 2 is better than Incredibles 1.
I like Incredibles 1 more.
Okay. 12. Toy Story 4. Remember how much I hate Toy Story 4? We could shove it farther up on the list for all I care.
I mean, they should have stopped
11
Toy Story.
is 3 is I think the best Toy Story actually. Okay. 11 is Inside Out. So remember, now we're entering the top 10 list, okay? Number 10 is Toy Story 3. Pre this list, would argue that Toy Story 3 should be fighting for number 1 in most lists.
I definitely.
But don't worry, AJ, don't worry. We'll get to me and Vox agree with the number 1 Pixar film of all time. So we'll get to why Vox is okay in a second. Number 9 is Coco. Yeah, no, that should not be this high at all. Number 8 is Toy Story 2. The thing that offends me about this one is it is better than Toy Story 1.
Yeah. Like, as an objective.
Number 7 is
list,
up.
Yeah.
Yes. Number 7 is Up, which no one's ever explained to me why Up's a good movie.
I mean,
so
it gets boosted by its intro.
yes,
a lot.
But a film should not be solely ranked on its intro. Once I get past the first 10 minutes.
I mean, it's like it's perfectly
that intro
fine.
should have been one of those pre-Pixar shorts.
Like, Up is totally fine after that intro.
But it's not with the intro level. Yeah. Okay, number 6, Ratatouille. Something that never gets enough love, so I'm really okay with this.
I would have to go through the list. It might fall out of my 10, but it would be like a.
Yeah, it's up there for me. I agree on that. Number 5 is the Nemo. I almost feel too high, but not much.
I mean, also, like,
okay.
Are we taking into account the cultural impact? Because if we are,
question. The list is the list. Just keep swimming. Yeah.
because like, if we're talking cultural impact, Finding Nemo is a top 3.
That's fair. So if you're talking cultural impact, the top three movies are Toy Story 2, Finding Nemo, Incredibles.
Wally has to be in.
I don't know.
I
We're
might
getting
drop Toy Story 2.
to where we are getting to where they put Wally because it made me like this list. Number 4 is Soul, which I've yet to watch Soul, so I can't put a judgment call on that one.
I only think it's this high because of the story around.
Probably. Number 3, Toy Story. Again, Toy Story 2 should be here, not 1. Now, we get to the important part of this. Number 2 is The Incredibles, as we've talked about. And for once, in goddamn Vox's life and the internet as a whole, someone else has finally ranked Wall-E as the correct number 1 Pixar film.
I mean, okay, so Wally, one,
No
three,
problem with
four. I guess Ratatouille would be in my.
it sounds like.
Three in. And I don't know what my.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll
I,
put
I saw this
Incredibles
list
2 in
though,
there, though.
and I just was upset by it. Okay. But yeah. No, I just saw the list and I was very upset by it.
I mean, the problem, too, is like
Besides the
they've got what? One, two,
number 1.
four, five. Yeah, five people, it looks like, that,
Wrote this thing.
yeah, wrote the letters for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's.
No, I agree that's the problem. But it is, so if anyone's curious, if you just Google Vox, Pixar movie rankings, apparently they update it every time a new Pixar movie comes out, and they get more and more wrong. But next news. This is a quick little snippet. We have no other information though. But it is confirmed officially that Deadpool 3 is part of the MCU and it will be rated R. Which I thought was a good little snippet. That because a lot of people were concerned it either be rated R or part of the MCU, and there was concern it would be both.
I mean, at this point, they don't care. Like,
Hmm.
the MCU doesn't mean what it used.
Post Infinity War stuff, it's gonna not mean the same.
Well,
Maybe
even
eventually they'll make it mean the same, but like right now, that like it's really hard to imagine like who they. There are a few people in the comics we know they could put up against, but like Thanos for the comics was like the main big one for so many people.
well, but like the MCU, just the MCU in general, right? That term, cinematic universe. Once Agents of Shield came
Shit the
out
bed.
and was referencing the movies, like, okay, they don't care about the MCU.
Hmm.
Because like if they did, they truly cared about the cinematic universe, they would have separated the TV and movie stuff.
Hmm.
And
No,
now with the whole
that's fair.
WandaVision, they really don't care.
Which I still need to watch it. Okay. Uh, you put these next two down, AJ, if you'd like to take the lead on them.
Yeah, so Misha Green, who was a creator for Lovecraft Country, which Jordan Peele's project with, I believe he was one of the creators of that. She is going to be the writer and director. So Alicia Vikander will
Hmm.
get to play Lara Croft. And going by like calling this a sequel would make me
Mhm.
assume that Alicia Vikander's back. Because,
Do you think so?
well, if it was a different person playing Lara Croft, you wouldn't call it a sequel.
Hmm.
I guess
Okay.
if they pull Alicia Vikander off project, that's weird. Calling it a sequel and pulling your main character. And
Hmm.
then to continue the trend of video game movies, because God knows it's another one.
This is like breaking news for us.
Kevin Hart cast as Roland in the Borderlands movie, and exactly zero people care.
Hey, also, I have a question. Isn't Roland supposed to be like a big fit soldier?
One would assume.
Is Kevin Hart so like in my head? If you're going down the Kevin Hart thing, Roland would have been akin to like The Rock, not Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Like that's when you look at where Roland was. He was like this chiseled, bald soldier who like towered over people. It was at least it was somewhat. Oh, they announced
Kate Blanchett
the
is going
Siren,
to be
didn't they?
Lil.
Yep, that's who they announced.
Eli Roth is directing.
My favorite joke was if you want to see how much people think the Kevin Hart casting is great, they're like, based on this casting, I can't wait to see Gabriel Iglesias casted as Mordecai and Christopher Walken casted as Claptrap. Can you imagine Walken as Claptrap?
Well, so I'm wondering, like, is the movie just going to be a cell shaded movie?
See, that's a good question actually. I didn't think of that one.
Like, literally the first comment on the Reddit thread. I just don't see this working in any way at all.
Because I don't.
The response to that, neither do I. Hart is literally the opposite of Roland. As a massive fan of the Borderlands game,
Because the
don't think
yeah.
that.
So they could be movies. Actually, I'm not offended by it being a movie. I'm offended by this cast.
The third comment in this chain totally agrees with me. I know since you like the games, you won't agree with this. The third comment in that chain,
Okay.
you don't think a game with a non-existent storyline should be made into a movie?
So Borderlands 1 is the problem. Borderlands 1 does not have a story. 2, I think 2 you could actually make it into a coherent story because like Handsome Jack, you actually find someone who's charismatic and do it. But 1 has no villain.
Oh, there is a storyline. Roland and Lilith eventually fall in love. I think world see Kate Blanchett having the response to that. He'd need a stepladder.
That's fucking amazing. Okay, yeah. And then last entertainment news, which is interesting, from Wall Street Journal. So, Peacock is now becoming WD's exclusive streaming home. Uh,
Which
So,
is very
you
interesting
know,
because when you think about the
because
structure of Peacock,
you read the subheadline is WWE is shutting down WWE Network,
yeah.
which is including WrestleMania is going to be on Peacock.
Well, so here's the thing, right? Like, so WWE Network is $10.
Hmm.
You can now get the WWE Network $6 a month
Yeah.
because
And if you read the deal, it's only like $1 billion. Like all things considered, that's not.
It was $1 billion for 5 years, which makes me wonder if the WWE is running the network on their side,
Mm-hmm.
but just tying into Peacock. Like you'll have to
Maybe.
link your account or something like that, and then
So when they reopen it back up, they have
yeah,
information.
because there's no way they're just gonna shut the network down.
Right. That's what I was thinking too.
Like that has made them way too much money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and before we leave film and TV, talking about networks, um, I don't know if you're a huge UFC fan or not, but as we're recording this, 2/7 it just happened, and in the lead up, Dana White was talking about somebody mentioned in a question like these illegal streamers
Mm-hmm.
that stream the fights, and he goes off on like, yeah, we know who you are. You turn your computer on, dude. We got you. We fucking got you, or something. He says like that.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the illegal streams ran fine for 257.
Mm-hmm.
ESPN Plus, which is what you so in order to even order a UFC pay per view now, you need ESPN Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like $6 a month, and then it's $70 for the pay per view. During 257, ESPN Plus crashed.
I did hear that.
Therefore, the illegal streams actually ran the entire fight. Meanwhile, if you bought it legitimately, it didn't work for apparently quite a while.
Which is wild.
I'm thinking to myself, man, like I've never like it's fun to watch people eat crow,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll get to it in games in a little bit. But eating crow that fast is just hilarious. Especially when like it's very clear Dana White doesn't realize that it's not one person.
That was the best. He's
Like
like the one stream.
yeah, like he's clearly addressing it as if he's talking to one person in particular. And it's like, dude, no, like VPNs exist and you definitely don't know who the guy is. And there's probably 1,000 guys, just one.
Yeah. Okay. Let's jump to, as we talked about, Le Video Gamas, which we actually don't have a ton of news this month because it's January and it's slow. First news is kind of sad, honestly. So Vicarious Visions, is still called Vicarious Visions, but it has officially moved from the Action side of the business to the Blizzard side of the business, and the current rumor is it is basically working solely on the Diablo 2 remake. Um, which secondary news story with that is apparently Diablo 2 was under the Blizzard 1 team, which is what people think of as Blizzard, which got scrapped last year, according to Jason Schreier, which is all this reporting is from. So that team's like gone basically, and Vicarious Visions is kind of taking the helm on this project. The reason I think this is sad is because Vicarious Visions over the last couple of years has really done some really cool work. I think between the Crash stuff and Spyro stuff, like they've turned into like a cool remaster slash go create a modern take of games
And
studio.
they're the ones that did the Tony Hawk thing.
Right, like so like they found a cool little niche I think they're really good at. So I think them actually going in the Blizzard business, I actually think is more sad than it is happy for the team personally, as someone who likes their stuff. But I don't know what your other thoughts on that would be, AJ.
I'm very curious. Like, so from the Schreier thing, like, Team 1 at Blizzard was dissolved in like October.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean Diablo 2 has just sat dormant for
Or this
4 months?
happened before we publicly said it happened.
Well, but even if Vicarious moved over to Blizzard in December, that's still
Mm-hmm.
2 months that the game just sat dormant, and now you have an entirely new team working.
Mm-hmm.
So that's entirely different creative visions for the project. and I just think this Diablo 2 remaster is going to be a dumpster fire for.
Hmm.
Like, it's very clear that Blizzard lucked into Diablo 3 being as expected,
Hmm.
and now they don't know what.
Hmm.
Because, like, everything they do to World of Warcraft sounds like it's losing players, not gaining or gaining players. And their their big Diablo announcement at the one BlizzCon was a mobile Diablo game, and
People were very happy.
that really soured people's interest with Blizzard, I
Hmm.
think. I mean, they'll stick around because they're part of Activision. I just,
Right.
like, at what point does Activision look at, okay, you have WoW bringing in 5 million a month.
Hmm.
At what point is it better to just like absorb Blizzard completely?
Which they at this point they have. Like they maybe literally haven't, but they have.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely see like the Blizzard name is still around, still for whatever reason has
But like
some.
I was listening to like the Giant Bomb Getting stuff, and the way they were talking about like how they messed up the Warcraft remake and stuff. Like is
Yeah,
Blizzard still around? But it's like how we talk about like Bioware is still around. Do we think Bioware is still around? Dice is still around. Do we really care that Dice is still like there are these certain studios that like are around by name, but are they around?
I mean, Dice is around. Like, I think Dice
Dice
is
is
a
a
bad
Battlefield
example, but um,
okay, but the Bioware one I think we both agree on.
yeah, Bioware is definitely a very good example of
They're here. They exist.
the studio exists in name, but that's about it.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So next news thing, which is this is the biggest thing of the month for sure, is I'm gonna kind of it's kind of all at once, and then we'll talk about it. So Disney has officially announced they're bringing back Lucasfilm Games as the umbrella for all Lucas property, which is Indiana Jones and Star Wars, as we'll get to. Within that, they have made two announcements, and the second one I actually think has a lot more connotations than the first. So broadly speaking, by the way, Star Wars EA exclusivity is done. So we've know the first external Star Wars game will be Ubisoft and Massive Entertainment creating an open world game. Massive was who created the Division 2 and the Division. And then the second one, which is the one that's very interesting to me, is Bethesda Games of the studio behind the Wolfenstein remakes and Machine Games is making an Indiana Jones game. But what's even weirder about that is the creative director is Todd Howard of Bethesda Game Studios.
I imagine the reason that's the case.
His name recognition.
Well, I imagine Disney went to Bethesda, or Bethesda went to Disney, however it happened.
However, at back end it happened. Yeah, it could be either. If we're being
Whoever
honest, because
approached who.
yeah,
And Disney was like, okay, but Todd is running the
leading the
ship.
project. Because whether you like the Fallouts or not, you know Todd has industry name recognition from even general public, and then from an investor point of view, it might put some level of ease knowing your most senior person at least in charge of the project in some capacity.
Yeah, like 95 to 99% of the people in the world will see the Todd Howard name and be like, oh, cool.
Right.
They won't read and realize that it's Machine Games,
And like
whose
if they're
last game was bad.
if they're parading him out there like that though, that also tells me I wonder if they're gonna make him actually do some level of actual guidance on this, not like a Fallout 76 scenario. Because if you look at Fallout 76, he introduced the game, but is also like, and I'm not leading it. With this game, he has not said that. He's very much been like, and I'm in charge of this game.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think my problem with Bethesda is more it's bigger than just, you know, it's bigger than just like BGS. It's bigger than Bethesda name. Like
Hmm.
my my problem with that studio, it's not necessarily like I have a problem with like the projects or the stuff that they make. It's more of the fan base,
That's fair.
you know,
So I have another question for you though.
yeah,
Do you think this will be a Xbox console exclusive?
yes.
So it'll be on PC, obviously. I just mean when I say console, obviously, we're talking about like it being on Xbox and not PlayStation and not Nintendo. Not Nintendo was assumed. I meant the yeah. So you do think so?
Yes.
Why? Just because
Well,
that deal you think to make it worth it?
that and like I guess if it isn't going to be exclusive, why'd they choose Bethesda?
That's fair. In my head, I think this is a objectively higher shot of being a console exclusive than like the next Skyrim or Fallout does.
Because like think about it, right? Like the crew at Lucasfilm,
Hmm.
they know that Microsoft owns Bethesda. So them approaching Bethesda, or
Right.
again, however they,
So here's the other question I've heard though: is we don't know the terms of that buyout because it hasn't happened yet, and I wouldn't be shocked if all non-exclusives there might be some weird contract that says something like they have to be announced by a certain date or something.
yeah,
Or this is in theory you're announcing this to convince investors that Microsoft himself to approve the deal, it's worth it.
yeah. Well, and when the deal was announced, it was, you know, they're sticking by the Ghostwire exclusivity
Because
and
they said any
whatever.
deal that was signed
Yeah.
before was signed before. But we don't know what was signed before. We don't know when this was signed.
Well, it had to be. I mean, not super recent
But it
because they
can't be
had
like within 5 years ago also.
right. They had some. You know, they had assets for it.
Yeah, but those could have been a couple months of assets based on how tight that was. It was a 30-second video.
Right. So what I'm saying is like it's within the past year. It's been
Mhm.
since Bethesda was purchased.
I don't know if I agree with that or not, because that Bethesda purchase was announced in September or October. I don't think you could have thrown that trailer together in 2.5 months. At least that deal and the trailer. You might have thrown the trailer together, but that deal had been known then before.
Well, they could have. You know, they could have heard that Lucasfilm was coming back and started working. Like, because Ubisoft was very clearly like
This just happened. Yeah.
the day that the exclusivity was up, they were announcing that this project was already being worked. So that
Hmm.
project had been in production. So this could have been like part of their pitch to Lucasfilm for these assets. So I'm wondering if like because how long has this Lucasfilm thing been known is the thing too. Like
Hmm.
if Lucasfilm has only like in the past month and a half, December, early December, it was known. That's still half of September, October, November, 2.5 months, essentially 3 full months
Hmm.
that Bethesda would have had to put this together while still being owned by Microsoft.
Hmm.
And they mentioned in that thing that it'll be a game by game basis moving forward, but
Right.
if you're Microsoft, like the fact that Microsoft still hasn't pushed any of their owned properties third party
Hmm.
makes me believe that even though they're saying, "Oh, it's going to be a game by game deal,"
It might not.
everything's going to be like
I still stick with I will be shocked if it is Skyrim and Fallout being exclusive.
I could I could see it
I
happen.
I bet you the most likely honest answer is existing IP has a smaller shot pending the IP, and then new IP will be exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, because like, well, and think about it, right? Like, how is Rare Replay not on more consoles?
Yeah,
Like,
that screams Nintendo Switch to me so much.
it's very clear that once Microsoft purchased you,
Hmm.
that's it. Like, you're not making,
Which if they give you enough money, that's okay.
yeah.
That's the way I view it.
So,
Yeah.
but like, I get that Bethesda had to come out and say like, okay, we're still, yes, we're publishing
Hmm.
Ghostwire and what that other game called. Like, we're still publishing those on other platforms. Just stop there.
Hmm.
Don't mention that everything else is going to be game to game,
Hmm.
because all that does is your next project, when it's announced to be Xbox exclusive, like, it gives, there's hope, right? Like, you announcing it's going to be a game to game basis, like, that will come back to bite you
Hmm.
when you release three in a row on Xbox and clearly don't give a shit about PlayStation.
Hmm.
Like, that comment, much like a lot of Bethesda's comments in the past decade, will come back to bite them.
Hmm. Fair enough. Yeah. Quick news story. By the way, it is Pokemon's 25th anniversary. So just keep an eye out on that. I expect new game announcements throughout the year. Current rumor being the Sinnoh remix for Nintendo Switch, but we have
I thought that
nothing
was
new on that.
announced.
No, that's just still rumor.
Didn't they? I could have sworn they said something about like get your bikes or something.
They did, but that could be reference to multiple.
And wasn't that for Go? It was.
Yeah, it was something like that.
I say I remember them like distinctly remember them mentioning like this is our next thing.
Hmm. But no, it's still rumor. The more we're reading these rumors, the more I believe it's probably the correct one, but it's still rumor because they've been alternating like every other year, basically being like remake verse continual right back because they have some room there. They have enough games they can kind of go back to.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, final news story is Microsoft is horrible at PR. Is that
Hey,
fair to call?
surprise, surprise.
So basically, in the matter of 8 hours, they announced Xbox's pricing were going
It
up.
was longer than 8 hours.
Look, so let's see. So the story, which is about the time they said the press release, is from 9:34 Eastern Time AM. The correction story, oh, it's from 6 a.m. No, you're right.
I was gonna say like it was the next day. It went through the night.
Oh no, I have it. I have it, AJ. The initial story, they edited it last 6 a.m. The initial story was at 8:25. It goes from 9:34 a.m. to 8:25 p.m. So it's 12 hours. I'm looking at the two stories headline. Moral of the story is that Microsoft decided they're going to up the price of gold because shit gets more expensive and inflation's a bitch. People were not happy. Is that a good way of putting it, AJ?
So no, what you here's what you got wrong. The original post was January 22nd at 6 a.m.
And then the update was 8:25 p.m.
Yeah, so it was what 14,
Okay, 40. But the point being, in a day.
almost 15.
Yeah. basically people unhappy. So in response, Microsoft has kind of drawn back this full price increase, but kind of has adjusted some pieces of it. So current stuff. If you're currently in the US, sorry international people, you plug your respective things. Xbox is not going up price wise if you have an existing 12-month or 6-month membership. You are also allowed to upgrade it. I believe it's for the next 3 years right now at this current price point, and it will not increase in pricing. They are upping the price though in some territories and regions of some of the smaller ones. I think month to month, for example. Um, but what they are compromising on this one is you have the ability to pay the difference and upgrade to the Ultimate, which includes Game Pass and Gold. Is kind of the broad strokes of this whole thing.
That's always happened.
It's
Like since Ultimate was announced, it was
they've
always
allowed
like,
you to do that. So what
yeah.
I don't understand is the kerfluffle this caused to like yes, increased pricing. Is that don't we expect that to happen?
We expected it to happen, not like not out of left field at 6 o'clock on a Friday morning.
Okay, that's fair, but like people were like in shock this happened.
I think people were shocked that, well, because the rumor was that originally, like, the rumor was that gold was going away
Right,
and multiplayer would be free to play,
right.
much like
Which
it
oh,
is on
that's the other
PC.
thing. Free to play games are now free on Xbox, which they weren't, which I forgot they weren't.
And so I think a lot of people's uproar was around not price increase, but the fact that it wasn't a like it wasn't just that the price went up.
Mm-hmm.
It was that it was kind of expected that gold would be going away, and the only thing you would pay for is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was the big kerfuffle, and like I forget who saw it on a couple different journalist feeds, but like this, you know, potentially like people could justify like you know maybe two or three at the current price at
Mm-hmm.
60 a year. So that's 180. They could justify that. They couldn't justify 180 for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And like I understand, especially now when you know there's a lot of people that are barely scraping by.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that was
If anything,
more
to
of
me,
the
then
hate was that not only did you bump it up, but the timing of when
that's
you
fair.
announced
So,
this.
so if I was Microsoft, the way I would have eased people into this has been like for new members, it's going up. For existing ones, it isn't. Is what they should have done for X time.
I mean, what they should have done is just announce that
It's going up in
Ultimate
12.
is like the thing.
Yeah. Or they should have done the thing where they announced it's going up, but like 12 months from now it's going up, not or whatever. The point being,
In many markets, the price of Xbox Live Gold has not changed for years, and some it hasn't.
which is true.
True, yes. If you're an
That's why to
existing,
me it going up isn't as offensive, but I agree there are ways they could have done it better.
yeah, prices won't adjust until 45 days. So, like, if they had gone it made this announcement, right?
Mm-hmm.
But new changes to Xbox Live Gold pricing, free to play games to be unlocked, like that headline
Mm-hmm.
is fine. Make your story look Xbox Live Gold as you know it is going away.
Mm-hmm.
any anybody with a whatever time you have remaining on your gold membership is just automatically converted to Game Pass Ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
And then going forward from February on, there's no longer Xbox Live Gold and Game Pass.
It
It's
should just
just
be.
Ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
And, because then you can justify that doubling up of the price. Because you're basically just putting it at the price that Ultimate is already.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Nice.
Because it's
Yeah.
very clear that like Game Pass is huge for Xbox.
Yeah, it's massive.
So make it like, I guess there would have to be a thing of like, if you don't want Game Pass, like how are you going to play Call of Duty?
Right.
So do they just like what they? I guess
We go
if
back
they
to the old
wanted to
days,
do
we
that,
paid per game.
well, if they wanted to do that, just drop the requirement for paying for online. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous that we're still
it'll be a
doing it.
cold day in hell before Microsoft does it.
I mean, they already do it on PC. Like,
I know, that's what makes it weirder now, is because they've connected those ecosystems.
like it's it's interesting, right? Because like you now have to take into consideration when you're pricing out a console. Okay, the Series X is $500, but it's also 180 a year.
Mm-hmm.
We'll tack on $200. So it's $700 for that first year, and then it's a $200 charge every year out.
Right.
So if you take your console life cycle, which we'll call 7 years, that's $1,400 that you're spending on top of the 500. You're spending $1,900 on this
Mm-hmm.
before you've bought any games.
Wild.
If you spend $1,900 on a computer in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
that will last you to the end of the console life cycle. Like just straight up, it will.
Mm-hmm.
So, and for the time being, like you'll always be able to play games at either higher resolution or higher frame rate or both than the console. So, that's the part that I don't understand. People just throw PCs out because they're like, oh, they're way too expensive. But when you think about it, you know, your your Xbox gets a $200 tax every year
Mm-hmm.
because you want to play online. On PC, you don't have that tax. And there are competing marketplaces so you can get games cheaper. And games go on sale more often, or they launch with, 15 to 20% sales, or there are ways that you can
Do this.
do this and save a significant amount of money over a console. And so it's just mind-boggling to me that the idea of still paying for multiplayer, because all of this stuff is run by, Call of Duty isn't run on Microsoft servers anymore.
Mm-hmm.
None of the third-party games are run on console servers. They're all run on AWS or whatever. So because you can then tie into oh, we've got a PC version, so then they can play, crossplay.
Mhm.
And it just boggles my mind that both console manufacturers find it. I guess PlayStation, it's a little more understandable, but the way Microsoft is leaning into this
Right, well,
play
PlayStation's at
anywhere,
least in theory trying to separate them still.
yeah,
Is your best defense of the matter, right?
like
Microsoft is full blown merging them, so at that point you have to merge them.
Microsoft is going play anywhere. Well, shit, if you're going to play anywhere, play it on the PC, then it's free to play. You know, you buy it once,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. You're not buying it and paying 60 a year to have the access to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the worst part about it. It's not it's not even the idea of paying for online and like that's not the worst part. It's if you buy the game, if you buy Call of Duty Black Ops,
Mm-hmm.
you are locked into one section of the game.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't shell out $60 a year.
Hmm.
Like whereas I can buy it on PC and play the entire thing for the price that I paid. So the Call of Duty is no longer a 60 $70 game. It's $120.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just it's it pisses me off that we're we're still doing this and people are fine with it.
Yeah.
It's not that we're still like the part that it annoys me, yes, that they're still doing this. The part that really just sends me over the edge is that people are they're comfortable with paying for online. Like especially on the Xbox. PlayStation, it's like there's no real
Connection.
yeah, there's no connection. They're not trying to, they're not pushing this play anywhere. They're not pushing this you buy it on Xbox, you can play it on your PC, you can play it on your, whatever. They're not pushing that. They're pushing this box plays games and it will play games for 7 years
Mm-hmm.
and then a new box comes out. And so it's understandable that, you know, there's going to be some concessions that you have to make if you want to play on play.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be locked into the box. If you're fine with that, be my guest. I still have a PlayStation. I still have my Xbox, but I don't use it. Um, and moving forward, like I I have no reason to buy an Xbox. I have a reason to buy a PlayStation
Right.
because I just can't I can't physically play PlayStation games anywhere other than a PlayStation.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And finally, we have some games to watch out for. I've kind of updated lists with some February and March stuff that caught my eye. So Persona 5 Strikers comes out February 23rd. Bravely Default 2 comes out February 26th. Returnal comes out March 19th. And then It Takes Two comes out March 26th. The final note I have with the show here, AJ, is should we keep it this way where I kind of keep the big games on there, or do you want me to restructure it just to have that month's games on our list?
I mean, I say we kind of stick with like
The stuff we care about.
the new and notable.
Okay.
Holy shit. Breaking news. Not that
Okay.
anybody really cares. No one was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame class.
I did see that rumbling around. People thought that was possible.
To
I think 538 even like predicted that yesterday or 2 days ago.
no player reached 75.
Wow. Okay. On that,
Kurt Schilling got 71%. 16 votes shy.
hey, you mess with one too many video game studios, you don't get your Hall of Fame.
Barry Bonds is up to 62%.
Well,
Roger Clemens.
AJ, we have talked about too much baseball, so I'm gonna shut this down and let the people go. Remember, you can follow us at the SWW Show. Follow me at Mikey_Moni. Follow AJ_Lucy. Go check out our YouTube, as we said. And I believe that is all. AJ, say goodbye to the people and pull the plug on this nonsense.
I'm pulling the plug on that Baseball Writers Association of America.
This episode is partially brought to you by the Humble Choice program. Did you know Humble Bundle has a great monthly subscription service that lets you get a ton of video games every single month? That's right, from plans range from $5 to $20 a month, you get a hold of a bunch of free games they have available to you. And you could use our code down in the description below to go and sign up. It would help our podcast and help you see what great games are available for you this month.
This podcast was a production of the SWW Show. To learn more, go to theswwshow.com. Remember, you can follow the show on Twitter at the SWW Show. You can follow me at Mikey_Moni. You can follow AJ at LowSeaBoar. Remember, new episodes premiere on Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time on anchor.fm/SWW and podcast services around the globe.